In this video, I'd like to take a look at what is possibly the best steel going in a budget bushcraft, budget survival knife. This is our knife here, the Baco 2444 or 2444. I just want to show you briefly some of the features of this knife and then show you some of the modifications you can do to make it more applicable to bushcraft and survival. These Bacos used to be more readily available throughout New Zealand. You could still get them on the internet and in certain stores, but I used to see them quite commonly in Bunnings and Mitre 10s, but don't see them as much in those hardware stores chains anymore. Maybe you can get them in the branches in the smaller towns because they are a working knife. They're good for farmers, they're good for engineers and workshops, so it's possibly you'll find them there. But on saying that, you'll get them online again, and you will get them in engineering supply stores, and farmlands is good shops to go to. They're online and you can go check their stores out. That's where I get mine from, is farmlands. They're normally under 20 bucks when they're full price, and I picked two of these up for under $9 each. So pretty good deal for a Baco, pretty good deal. So Baco and Mora. Well, Baco is a name you see out there just about any hardware store. In the gardening section, you see it on saws, knives, secateurs, pruning implements, all kinds of stuff. Baco looks to be the hardware division of Mora. I believe Mora is the specialized in knives, things like that, but I believe they're the same company. I used to get these knives here with Baco on the front of the sheath, and I turn it over and Mora was embossed on the plastic. So they're coming out of the same factory. So essentially what we're looking at here is a Mora clipper with a stainless steel blade. So for under $9 each, which is what I paid for these things on special, that's a pretty good deal. That's a lot of knife for your money. Modifications. So what can we do to this Baco to make it more applicable for bushcraft and survival? Well, I would start you off by saying go to I.A. Woodsman's YouTube channel. He did a video once on modifications you can do for this many moons ago, quite a few years ago, but it's worth looking up on that video. And essentially that's what inspired this one. I'm just going to do the same. Just need our knife, hunk of wood, something solid to bash against. That's a small bamboo cheese board or cutting board that I carry with me in case I need it, and might use it here. Bit of paracord in case I want to turn it into a neck knife, and a ranger band, which I'll show you what it's for afterwards, and a file. I basically have two files, one medium grade, or medium grit I should say, medium tooth, and one fine one. This is the one I would carry out in the bush if I was to take my axe out or my kukri out. Back in there. First thing we want to do is set this up so it can spark a ferro rod. Comes with a very rounded spine. This one I've already done a bit of work on it a while ago, but when you get it, it comes with a very rounded spine. It won't really do any sparks. So just a file. Going to try it. I haven't got the right tools, but this is what I got, so bear with me. And gives a little bit of help there. Let's just take that edge off. Let's put that edge on. Let's put that 90-degree edge on it. Just keep going down like that till you get that nice sharp edge that you want. This one will probably do it on both sides. Yeah, it's pretty good on that side, but I always strike like that. I'm a righty. Yeah, a little more work. It's good steel on this, so it takes a little bit of work. That should do it. Let's see what we got. Oh, not bad. Pretty good. That'll do the job. That's that taken care of. Another mod you can do is that plastic orange butt at the end of the handle. You can drill a hole through it and put your lanyard through. The tang on this knife, it's not a full tang. It's only about 3/4, I believe. Only goes up to around about there, so you can drill through there quite safely. Another modification that can be made is to the blade itself, right there on the edge. This is a very fine, very sharp edge. So for bushcraft and survival, with some of the things you might be using the knife for out there, it might be a little too fragile. The super sharp knives, very good steel, but again, that edge is just a little bit too thin. So what I've seen IA woodsmen do is he just, if this was your sharpening stone, he just finds the normal bevel and then just takes it up just a little bit more. What he tries to do is put a micro bevel on that end, sort of to take it from being super sharp like that, just to widen it out a little bit, makes it stronger, more broader. So that's another mod you can do. I won't do it on this one. 2 mods to the sheath, really simple. And there's 2 ways we can go with it. One, if we're just going to continue using it as a belt knife. Well, let me say, actually, there's a number of different mods you can do, but these are 2 that I've tried that I prefer. So, cool thing about these things, you just get the knife, chop around, bash around with it, and experiment with it. It's, you know, for me, this was a $9 knife, so great to practice on and great to play with. And not just a beginner's knife, really, you know, not just a beginner's knife. These are good backup knives for the bush. These are good survival knives. They're good bushcraft knives. The cheap price doesn't mean you have to retire them when you get something more expensive. This is still a good frontline knife. While I've been talking, that's my mod done. So that's for the sheath. If you're gonna, sorry, that's for keeping the sheath as a belt knife. Or for belt knife use, I should say. Just a Ranger band, just flip it straight on there, you don't have to do any other mods. And it holds that knife and it's not going to come out. Pretty good. So just a Ranger band on there, that's it. Quite a good little clip. You can, don't know if you can see my face there, it's probably good if you can. You can clip it right onto your pocket like that if you want. You got your hole at the back there, in the back of the clip, that's for a button. You can push it over the button, and then slide it down, and the button locks up that vertical shaft there. And so you can carry it around the camp like that if you wanted to. And it does fit on a belt. I got a nice wide leather belt here, and it fits right on. These hold on very, very well. You wouldn't think so, but they hold on very well for a belt. It's got a good catch on there, doesn't come off. So makes a good belt knife. Very low profile, really good sheath. If you fall and slip and go on the ground, that super sharp blade is not going to come into you. It's going to stay within the sheath, so pretty good. Modifying the sheath for neck carry. Let's take our Ranger band off, which we used for normal belt carry. Get the knife out of the way so I don't cut myself. So basically, if we're going to decide to have it just as neck carry, I could chop this piece here off and do a couple of other quick mods to it as well. If you want to have the option of neck carry and sheath carry, just grab your paracord or your cordage and just make it into a loop and just push it through there, and you'll still be able to carry it without having to damage the sheath. Okay, so let's see what we need to do. Might be able to just cut this off straight off, which would be nice. Yep, I think it's going to do it. Or you can actually batten your way through it. I haven't really got a good batten here, so I'm just going to slice. And that's that there. Off into the rubbish. Can get some pretty sharp edges on plastic, so let's clean her up a bit. Take those edges off. Yep, nicely done. And flatten off that top edge if I can. Just feeling around for the sharp edges that could scratch or cut. Just round it or bevel it off, whichever works. Done. Next thing, just 2 holes. Right at the top, or about, what's that, about 3/4 of an inch, an inch down. What's that, about 2 centimeters down on either side. Now I could use this to make the holes very easily, but I.A. Woodsman was talking about how you can chip that tip of that blade off, because, you know, again, it's a very fine blade. You can chip it off and then you got to reshape it again. So I'm just going to use this to get the starter hole. Then I'm going to use my Swiss Army knife with the awl and just dig it out. I'm going to come in a little bit further than I think I need to, because there's nothing wrong with that. If I'm in too far, if I come out too far and I make the hole too wide, it'll just break through to the outside. Two starter holes. That's one there. Two. And just widen them out. Swiss Army knife does a very nice job. Can close on you. Always watch the fingers. Had mine nicely out of the way. Remember that awl on these knives has a little bit of a blade on it. So you want your fingers in the correct position. Beautiful. Perfect job. Any engineer would be laughing hysterically about now, I think. But there's beauty in function, and that'll function. Paracord through. And I'm not going to do any special knots here. I'm just going to do a thumb knot. There we have it, guys. Got the 2 holes in it. The paracord coming through. And she's now a neck knife. Boom. So there we have it, guys. The Baco 2444. Modified for bushcraft and survival. And at under $9, it is an awesome, awesome deal. Even under $20 at its normal retail price, it's a great, great deal. It really is. The only tools I really needed were a file, the knife itself, and a couple of hunks of wood. The tools I did use, the Swiss Army knife, just to make it easier and to protect the blade. But that's it. The Baco 2444. Thanks for tuning in, guys.